those things you have to take and involve, especially when it comes to the abatement of the property. And then with this development happening, and then the traffic pattern, if both developments happen at the same time, New York Avenue, South Dakota Avenue, Bladesburg Road would be a total nightmare because those traffic studies were not in sync together. So it's constantly staying at the foot of force or the face of the council so they can understand. You have those council members that deal with the economic development. Yes, we do have a new council member, but at the same time, he has to understand the grave impact of the things that he was not involved in he has to prioritize, he has to make sure what is the first priority of the community, and that will be us. This side, because most of the other side of town is already developed. This is a major intersection that's going to be impacted.
This is a new question. Currently, the ANC that you're on now is different from the one you're going to be in, and this is still general enough for you, Ms. Holmes. So, does that ANC have a transportation committee?
We currently do not have a transportation committee because of, how do I put this? Because of the past activities that came about in the ANC, a lot of those, we had to put a lot of the committees on hold. Okay. We had a grant committee that was supposed to pass out money, and unfortunately the situation happened. Right. So we're trying to recover. Those are the things that we were trying to do. For people who don't know, there was embezzlement in that old ANC, which didn't represent your area.
So how do you as an ANC commissioner want to have the new 5C be organized with committees or not, with resident involvement or not, to better represent and engage the citizens? So
I feel you can't be an ANC without the residents. It's bottom line. You can't do your job without the residents. You cannot properly function without the residents. Because you need their support, you need to know what's going on, and there has to be engagement. I think all ANCs should, as Ward 6, which I love Ward 6, my first apartment when I moved out of the house was in Ward 6. So you have to have that type of committee. It cannot just be one person. Because our community is made up of it's diverse people of different talents that can help one another. So it's so important that you have that so people can be involved. It cannot fall just on the ANC because we are to advise the community, but we can't do anything without the involvement of the community. So I think for me, I could not be a good ANC if I don't have the involvement of my constituents.
And so then you're committed to
I'm committed to definitely. Oh, definitely.
Ms. Robinson?
Yes, one of my one of the points on my platform is the 10-member advisory council of the S&D. So I would incorporate people from the Fort Lincoln Civic Association, Arboretum Civic Association, the Gateway, and then other people who really want to get involved, with making decisions. And of course, committees are important. You need all types of committees because they need to address all kinds of concerns. And as far as with the grant process, to me, it needs to be certain set guidelines so they can be scrutinized. Because I was at a 5A meeting and it was a controversy about someone who lived in 5B wanted 5A money. Kids lived in 5B. So they need to be certain guidelines, specific guidelines to scrutinize to make things run smoothly. And you need definitely community input, constituent input. Everyone has to, all the stakeholders have to be involved.
Well, I hate to offer myself as being willing technical assistance, because the great thing about moving from one ward to another, you give up everything you've been involved in, and you don't have to take up new things. And I'm happy to help your ANC and setting up committees. So here is another question. There's clearly, it's not good to speak of people who aren't here, but clearly there are advantages for some people to work really closely with the power structure, and sometimes at the expense of the citizens. So how do you, in one of the problems with the ANCs in Ward 5, many of the commissioners, I'm not talking about present commissioners necessarily.
I'm not offended.
But they've been toadies for the councilman. Harry Thomas. Hasn't been that bad, but wasn't that bad actually. He did some good things. You know, Harry Thomas Sr., the ANC, many of the ANC commissioners didn't independently represent the citizens so much as they did the bidding of other people. And how do you intend to stay true to what I hope are your principles of being of and in the community and not for others? I guess Ms. Manning first, and then I'm confused now on the order. So Ms. Manning, you first, and then Ms. Robinson.
You have to be transparent in this position. First of all, your information is public information. You pull up, internet is who have internet access. People will talk and they know what's going on. Harry Thomas no longer a council member, so that's an example of where he is and those that were with him. Because people come and they ask, and everyone, DC is small, and you talk and you move around the city. You yourself have worked on various campaigns and you know what goes on. And you try and you move around and you need to network. We have to connect the community to each other, even though we're uniquely different, but we're still a common thread throughout the community. And you have to make sure that everyone understands what's going on. That's why you try to, it's great that media is good, that you can put it on the website, but at the same time, you have to be able to talk to people to make sure they understand. Because the way we're set up, you have to be able to communicate and articulate and understand that you're representing not just yourself. Because my personal view of something may not be your personal view of something. And we have the right to disagree. But at the end of the day, how it impacts the community is the most important thing of how we get there to achieve it. And that's how, because I'm transparent with that and coming out, my neighbors knock on my door, my father let them in. I can't stop that, that's his house. But they know that, and that's the most important thing, because you have to be able to have that open door policy for people, and you have to be able to use that. Most of you all see in the grocery store. I'll spend 45 minutes, my ice cream will melt, but my point is to get back, we have to be on that same playing field. Because it's not about me being the ANC, it's about me representing my single member district and what they stand for.
Ms. Robinson?
One of my prime concerns, and I guess a platform concern, is not only transparency, but integrity. And this is something that Ward 5 really needs to bring back, or even the city of Washington, D.C., rather than federal territory of Washington, D.C. We need to set higher standards of integrity. You know, it bothers me that there's always controversy or media or news about the integrity of the officials in the city. And we need to be mindful of that. And we need to get the proper stakeholders who are going to address the concerns. And if we see a red flag, then it's up to us to make sure that this person is levied in a certain manner. You know, it disturbs me when I see a lot of the corruption that exists, and we need to get back to the old ways before we even had mayor and city council.
Okay, I'm going to take the liberty here